Hi guys. So today in the previous video I unboxed this Kindle and it's been like 3 days. I have been studying except yesterday I did not study yesterday. So today we are going to study. Of course these videos are not going public at least right now. So I'll just be I'll just see like how do I speak this, how do I learn this skill of speaking in front of camera and reading this so that I can increase my knowledge. And so the book that I've been reading, so let me start this. So the book that I've been reading is the how to like get things done. So I'm currently on page 48 of the book. This is the book that I'm reading. You can see Getting Things Done by David Allen. The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. So today I'll be reading and try to read so that I can improve my reading skills and achieve my goals of getting a PR in Canada and all that stuff. So today I'll be starting in my chapter 2. I have finished chapter 1 of this, like 48 pages. So yeah, let's start. Getting control of your life. The 5 steps of mastering workflow. Don't let life get in your way. The core process for mastering the art of relaxed and controlled engagement is a 5-step method for managing your workflow. The ever-present ingestion. What is ingestion? The ever-present ingestion and expressions of our experiences. Ingestion is take food, drink take into body by swallowing or absorbing it. Ever-present ingestion and expression of our experiences. Okay. Information. He spent his days ingesting the content of the library. Okay. So the ever-present information and expressions of our experiences. No matter what the setting, 3 or 5 discrete stages that we go through as we deal with our life, our work, and their consistent inputs and changes. Getting things under control, whether that's in our kitchen or in your company, will incorporate them. And each of these separate aspects has its own best practices and tools and must work together with the rest as a whole to produce that wonderfully productive state of being present amid all the complexity. What is meant by amid? So amid is in the middle of will be that wonderfully productive state of being present in the middle of all the complexity. Okay, in an atmosphere, in an atmosphere all the complexity. It's not simply about getting organized or setting priorities. Those are good things, but they happen as a result of applying these 5 steps, not by themselves. These procedures I will describe work together as a whole and using them to produce results in both easier and more challenging than you may think. Okay, then is a quote from Walter Lippmann. A useful definition of liberty is obtained only by seeking the principle of liberty in the main business of human life. That is to say, in the process by which men educate their responses and learn to control their environment. I have no idea what it is said. A useful definition of liberty. What is liberty? The state of being free within society within society from op- oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, and political. Liberty means being free with a freedom, being free within society from obsessive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, and politics. Okay, so a useful definition of liberty is obtained only by seeking the principles of liberty in the main business of human life. That is to say, in the process by which men educate their responses and learn to control their environment. I now also have no idea. So where we're reading is this. These are more challenging, you may think. So now we talk about these 5 steps. So we first capture what has our attention. Second, clarify what each item meant and what to do about it. Third, organize the results, which presents the options V, which presents the options V. Fourth is we reflect on. Fourth, this is 4 point. So present the options we reflect on, which we then choose to 5 engage with. So this continues the management of the horizontal aspect of lives, incorporating everything that we need to consider at any time as we move forward moment to moment. They are not arbitrary or purely theoretical suggestions. They are what we all do anytime we want to bring something under control and stabilize it for productive action. If you are planning to cook dinner for friends, but you came home and find the a kitchen a total mess, how do you get on top of it? First, you identify all the stuff that does not belong where it is. The way it is captured this way. The way it is captured. The way it is. Sorry. Okay. First, you identify all the stuff that does not belong where it is. The way it is. This is captured. Now, you then determine what to keep, and what to throw away. This is clarify. You put things where they need to go, back in the refrigerator, in the garbage, or in the sink. Organize. You then check your recipe book along with the ingredients and utensils you have. Reflect. Fourth is this is fourth, and you get started by putting butter in the pan to start melting. Engage. 5 steps for doing this. The method is straightforward enough in principle, and it is generally how we all go about our work in any case. But in my experience, most people can significantly improve their handling of each one of the 5 steps. The quality of our workflow management is only as good as the weakest link in this 5 phase chain. The quality of our workflow management is only as good as the weakest. Okay, because each step uh, has an effect on the whole process. So the quality of our workflow management is only as good as the weakest, because that weakest one will affect a lot. As so, the quality of our workflow management is only as good as the weakest link in the 5 phase chain. So all the links must be integrated and supported with consistent standards. Okay, so all the links must be integrated and supported with consistent standards. Okay, most people had had major inefficiencies in their version of their control process in the larger context of life and work, but the stress of our new world are blowing out weak spots. Most people have a bad major inefficiencies in their version of this control process in a large context of life and work. Okay, but the stresses of our new world are blowing out the work spots. Yes, cool. Okay, so सबके पास basically everybody has an inefficiency, and on top of the inefficiency, there are a lot of stresses because of new world, this new era of life and work. So now if we talk about, then he says the ubiquity. So this is ubiquity. What is ubiquity? The ubiquity of. So ubiquity is present, appearing, or found everywhere. His ubiquitous influence was felt by all the family. Cowboy hats are ubiquitous among the male singer. Cowboy hats are appearing among the male singers. Okay, cowboy hats are found everywhere among. Okay, his appearing influence, his present influence. Okay, the ubiquity of information, uh, access, the ubiquity of information. Let me let me connect to the Wi-Fi. Yeah, so we are back again. So the ubiquity of information access and the ubiquity of actions. Sorry, the ubiquity of information access. The ubiquity of information access and rapidity. Rapidly. तो पता है what is rapidity? Happening in short time or at fast pace. Okay, just like rapid. Same rapidity, same thing. So the ubiquity of information access and rapidity of change happening as you read this consistently increases the complexity of your life and work. Only having to deal with a messy kitchen would be a relief. So small leaks with added pressure becomes big one. One missed email, untracked commitments, or decision avoided can have hugely magnified consequences. That is true because the volume of pertinent content. What is pertinent? Pertinent. Pertinent. Relevant. Okay. The volume of relevant content is not diminishing. Okay. The relevant or applicable to particular matter. Opposite. She asked me a lot of very pertinent questions. Relevant questions. She asked me a lot of relevant questions. A lot of levels. So, because of the volume of pertinent content is not diminishing or input slowing down, avoiding getting a grip on the mar- martial art of workflow mastery will be at your own peril. Peril, peril. Why this accent? No accent. Peril, peril, peril. So, serious and immediate danger, okay, will be at your own danger or risk. I mean, his family was in peril, in danger, okay. A setback to the state could present a peril to the regime. According to Wikipedia, imminent peril is an American legal concept here. Mm, joking. Wait, risk. Most people have made. Let me little water. Little water. Most people have major weaknesses in their capture process. Most of their commitments to do something are still in their head. That's the main problem with me. I have everything in my head. I think I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. But then, like, it's keep in. I keep it this in my head. So like I'll be thinking all time long, and for so long I thought that, like, okay, although I'm not that successful, but I think I always thought, like, okay, whatever I'm doing is just because that I think about these things all the day, and now I think, yes, this is bullshit. Like, just thinking about things will not help you. Solving these problems, just solving problem will help me, not just by thinking problem. Okay, I need to do this. But even the thing that will help me is just to do this. And for a long time, I had this in my head. Always, I'm like constantly thinking about things like I need to do this, I have to do this, I have to do. Just reminding myself I need to do this, but I'll not do this. So I need to prove that. So this is the step where I fuck up most of the time. But if I I'm sure that if I start doing things, I don't face much problem doing things. I face problem starting things. So most people have major weaknesses in their capture process. Most of their commitments to do something are still in their head. The number of clouds shoulds could sorry number of coulds shoulds might want to's and ought to's they generate in their mind are way out beyond what they can record anywhere else. That is true. Many have collected lots of things but haven't clarified exactly what they represent or decide what actions if they take about them. Sorry. To take about them. Random lists strewn everywhere. Strewn like fly. Random scattered or spread. Okay. Random list spread everywhere. Meeting notes, yeah, that is true also. If I write something, then I'll just forget it. Where did I write? And I have no control over it. I cannot write in phone. I'm a tech guy, but even then, I cannot like do this. I cannot use my phone to uh, write things, but I always forget them. So, where were we? To take a random list strewn, random list strewn everywhere. Meeting notes, vague to dos on post-its on their refrigerators or computer screens or in their task functions in digital tools. All lie, not acted on. That is so true. And numbering to psych in their effects and numbering to the mind. I think psych is mind in their effect. Those lists alone often create more stress than you relieve. That is true. Others make good decisions about stuff in the moment but lose the value of that thinking because they don't efficiently organize the result. That's also true that I sometimes think and I have a solution while I'm thinking the problem, but then I don't write the solution, so I had to think again. And a lot of the time, I do like I remember some part of the idea that I thought then, but I forget a lot of the solution that I thought. So I had to rethink again, and that's also wasting my time. I feel like I was not uh, I did not optimize time that time when I was thinking, and now also again I had to think. So I'm not optimizing my time here also. So that is bad. So numbering the psych and their effect. Those lists alone often create more stress than they relieve. Others make good decision about stuff in the moment but lose the value of that thinking because they do not efficiently organize the results. They determine they should talk to their boss about something, but a reminder of that lie only in the dark recess of their mind, unavailable in the appropriate context, in a trusted format when they could use it. Still, others have good systems but do not reflect on the contents consistently enough to keep them functional. They may have lists, plans, and various checklists available to them, created by capturing, clarifying, and organizing, but they don't keep them current or access them to their advantage. That is also true. So even if I so now currently I have my diary there, I have written something in there, but it's been 2 days I have not seen the diary again, and I have not completed like any task of that diary. I started yesterday for doing something, but then it took me a whole day. So that's also bad. So I like in first step, I like in second step, I like in third step, and I like in fourth step too. Fuck my life. Still, others have good systems but do not reflect on the contents consistently enough to keep them functional. They may have lists, plans, and various checklists available to them, but they do not keep them current or access them to their advantage. Many people don't look ahead at their own calendars consistently enough to stay current about upcoming events and deadlines, and they consequently become victims of last minute craziness all the time. Ask yourself, when do I need to see what in what forms to get it off my mind? That also true. I should see. So I'll highlight this. When do I need to see what in what form to get it off my mind? You build a system for function, not just a system. That is also true. Just building a function will not help me. I should have built a function system for function that should function for me. Damn. Finally, if any one of these previous links, finally, if any one of these previous links is weak, that someone is likely to choose engage in any point in time may not be the best option. Okay, what someone is likely to choose to engage any point in time. Most decisions for actions and focus are driven by the latest and loudest input. That is also true, and are based on hope instead of trust. People have a constant nagging sense that they are not working on what they should be, that they don't have time for potentially critical activities, and that they are missing out on the timeless sense of meaningful doing what they a sense of stress-free productive. That is so true. I always nagging. What nagging means, I think, is just like bap karna basically. So nagging, just bap annoying or irritate, and persistent fault finding or continuous arguing. So yeah, that is true. I continuously argue with myself in my head. I need to do this. How should I? Like there are two sides of mind. So they keep on arguing each by itself. So that's fucked up. So most decisions for actions and focus are driven by the latest and the loudest input. That is so true. Whenever a task is a loud task or bigger task comes, so I try to focus on that, and that's one. And I forgot all the tasks, so that is also bad. And are based on hope instead of truth. That is also true. People have a constant nagging sense that they are not working on what they should be. That's also true. I don't want this. That they don't have time for potentially critical activities, and they have missing out on timeless sense of meaningful doing. That is essence of stress-free productivity. Now I'm thinking of bathing for like next last 1 2 days. I have not bathed, like it's been one day I'm not bathed. I bathed person like day before yesterday. I was thinking like I need to bathe. So today I suppose I will. I don't know. Let's see. Dynamics of these 5 steps need to understood, and good techniques and tools implemented to facilitate their functioning at an optimal level. I have found it very helpful, if not essential, to separate these stages as I move through my day. Okay, separate these stages. Okay, as I move through my day, there are times when I want to only to collect inputs and not decide what to do with it yet. Okay, there's possible. At other time, I may just want to process my notes from a meeting, or I may have just returned from a big trip and need to distribute and organize what I collected and processed on the road. Okay, that's also when a lot of ideas come when we're doing something. So, or I may have just returned from a big trip and need to distribute and organize what I collected and processed on the road. Then there are times when I want to review the whole inventory of my work or some portion of it, and obviously, a lot of my time is spent merely doing something that I need to get done. I have discovered that one of the major reasons many people haven't had a lot of success with getting organized is simply that they have tried to do all five steps at one time. That is also true. I started like the first step, I read second step, I wrote third step, and then I tried to engage with that step that time only, and I failed miserably. Most, when they sit down to make a list, are trying to collect the most important things in some order that reflects priority. That's also true. And some order that reflects priorities and sequences without setting out many or any real actions to take. But if you don't decide what need to be done about your assistant's birthday because it's not that important right now, that open loop will take up energy and prevent you from having a totally effective, clear focus on what's important about your assistant's birthday because it's not important right now. That open loop will take up energy and prevent you from having a totally effective, clear focus on what's important. That is true. This chapter explains the five steps in details. Chapter 4 through Chapter 8 provides a step-by-step program for implementing an airtight system for each phase, okay, with lots of examples and best practices. So now we're not talking about these steps. First is the capture step, in which what the idea is to capture anything that needs my attention. I think it's important to know what needs to be captured and how to do that most effectively so you can process it appropriately. For your mind to let go of the lower level tasks of trying to hang on to everything, you have to know that you have truly captured everything that might represent something you have to do or at least decide about, and that at some point in near future you will process and review all of it. Gathering 100% of the gathering 100% of the incompletes. In order to eliminate holes in your bucket, you need to collect and gather placeholders for a representation of all the things you consider incomplete in your world. That is anything personal or professional, big or little, or of urgent or minor importance that you think ought to be different, have it ought to be different than it currently is, and that you have any level of internal commitment to changing. Many of the things you have to do are being collected for you as you read this. Many of the things you have to do is being collected for you as you read this. Mail is coming into your various mailboxes, physical and virtual. You are likely still getting packages and letters at home. Physical stuff is still landing at your in your tray at work, along with email, texts, and voicemails into your digital tools. Texts and voices mails into your digital tools. But at the same time, you have been capturing things in your environment and even in your head that goes belong, and you have been capturing things in your environment and in your head that don't belong where they are, the way they are, for all eternity, even though even though it may not be an obvious in your face, as your emails and stuff still require some kind of resolution, a loop to be closed, something to be done. Strategy, ideas, loitering. What the fuck is loitering? Loitering. Loitering. Stand or wait around idly or without apparent purpose. Strategy ideas loitering in a notebook, dead gadgets in your desk drawers that needs to be fixed, or that is true. Yeah, I need to fix my speaker. Okay. Mm, strategies, ideas loitering in the notebook, dead gadgets in your desk drawers that need to be fixed or thrown away, or out of the date magazines on your coffee table all fall into this category of stuff. As soon as you attach a should, need to, or ought to an item, it becomes an incomplete. That is true. That is so true. That should be highlighted. As soon as I say I need to do this, I ought to do this, I should do this, I have to do this, it becomes incomplete. I need to complete that stuff. Decisions you still need to make about whether or not you are going to do something, for example, or already, for example, or already complete. This includes all your I'm going to's in which you have decided to do something but haven't started moving on it yet. Yes, I wanted to join gym. I'm thinking of it like for 5 6 days now, and I have not joined yet. And I need to join this. Fuck man, what I'm doing with my life. This includes all your ongoing tools in which you have decided to do something about but haven't started moving on it yet, and it certainly includes all pending and in process items, as well as those things on which you have done everything you are ever going to do except acknowledge that you are finished with them. That is also true, and sometimes you do not realize that okay, you are done with this. You have to let it go sometimes. In order to manage this inventory of open loops appropriately, you need to capture it into containers that hold items in abeyance until you have a few moments to decide what they are and what until you have a few moments to decide what they are and what, if anything, you are going to do about them. Then you must empty these containers regularly to ensure that they remain viable capture tools. Basically, everything potentially meaningful to you is already being collected in the larger sense. If it's not being directly managed in a trusted external system of yours, then it resides somewhere in your mental space. The fact that you haven't put an item in your in tray doesn't mean you haven't got it. But you're talking but we are talking about making sure everything you need to collect somewhere other than in your mind. The capture tools. Now we are about tool over capture tools. So there are several types of tools, both low and high tech, that can be used to collect your incompletes. The following can all serve as a variant version of an in-tray capturing self in-tray capturing an in-tray in-tray capturing self-generated in-tray capturing self-generated inputs as well as informations from external source. Physical in-tray. The following can the following can all serve as versions of an in-tray. The following can all serve as versions of an in-tray capturing self-generated inputs as well as information from external source. Physical in-tray Physical entries are paper-based note-taking devices, digital audio note-taking devices, email and text messaging. The physical entry about physical entry: the standard plastic, wood, leather, or wire tray has for years been the most common tools for collecting paper, white and paper-based and physical materials that need some sort of processing. Mail, magazines, meeting notes, corporate reports, tickets, receipts, flash drives, business card, even flashlights with dead batteries, writing paper and pads, loose leaves and bound notebooks, note cards, and paper pads, all of all shapes and sizes work fine for collecting random ideas, input things to do, and so on. Whatever fits your taste and logistic needs. Digital and voice note taking, computers, tablets, smartphones, and all kind of new mobile tech gadgetry emerging daily can be used to capture notes for later processing, prevising, and interim records for things you need to remember to deal with. Email and texting. If you are wired to the rest of the world through emails and texting, your software contains some sort of holding area for incoming messages and files where they can be stored until they are viewed, read, and processed. Technology integration. The evolution of the digital world has made it increasingly possible to integrate these various channels automatically. Writing notes from paper and whiteboard can be instantly recorded, reorganized, and funneled into software storage. Voice messages can be recorded, digitized, and printed out. You can to your email, text an idea to your email. You can text an idea to your email from your mobile device, whether high tech or low tech. All the tools functions I have described serve similarly as in trace, capturing potentially meaningful information, commitments, ideas, and agreements for actions. As capturing potential meaning सर्व करते हैं. This is important. The success factor for capturing. Unfortunately, merely having an interest does not make it functional. That is true. Most people do have collection devices of some sort, but usually they don't. They are more or less out of control or seriously underutilized. Let's examine the three requirements to make the capturing phase work. Get it all out of your head. If you are still trying to keep track of too many things in your mental space, you likely won't be motivated to use an empty or tray with instant integrity. Most people are relatively careless about these tools because they know they don't represent discrete whole systems anyway. There's an incomplete set of things in their tray, and an incomplete set in their mind, and they are not getting a real payoff for either one. So their thinking goes, it's like trying to play pinball and machines that pinball on a machine that has big holes in the table, so the ball keeps falling out. There's little motivation to keep playing the games. Keep everything in your head or out of your head. If it's up in between, you won't trust either one. That is true. या तो सब बाहर रखो ऐसा बंदा रखो भैंचो. That is so true. Because then I don't trust my. This is important. This collection of tools. So it's 30 minutes. So I'll be finishing off in 45 minutes. It has been already 38 minutes. So these collection tools should become part of your lifestyles. Keep them close to by so no matter where you are, you can collect a potentially valuable thoughts. These collection tools should become that is. Think of them as being an indispensable as your toothbrush or your driver's license or your glasses. The sense of trust that nothing possibly useful will get lost will give you a freedom to have many more good ideas. Minimizing the number of capture locations. So now I'll bookmark here and page number 56. So we are on page 56 and 16% is done. So this was today session, and I'll close this on. Thanks.